Coming up when I was like 18, 19 years old, I was told if you have the drugs, like especially marijuana and alcohol, you always have the women, which is true, but they didn't continue to tell you what else goes along with that. They didn't tell you about the disease that you can catch. They didn't tell you about people who you can hurt them for as lying, manipulating, because that's what we do.
So you're from LA.
I'm raised and born in LA. Yeah. I have 4 sisters. I'm not in contact with none of them right now. My mother and father. My father passed in '87, and my mother, I don't know where she at right now. I don't really know anything too much about her because my past drug using and let's just say my habits. I was raised and born in Aliso Village. And that's not too far from here. My mother come home one day, she was working, she come home one day and I was sitting on the porch and I was sniffing glue. I don't know if it was glue.
How old are you at this point?
I must have been like maybe 8 or 9 years old.
Yeah.
Where was Dad at?
Yeah.
Where was my other sisters at? I don't know.
Yeah.
I was young myself.
But you were okay, yeah.
But I remember, I remember when the police seen me smoking a cigarette, hey you gonna remember that one day. I remember that too.
You were a little boy?
Yeah, when I was a little boy. I wish I never started. My dream was to be a football player. I went to LA high school. I was pushed through school. All my school were special training. All of them were special training. From first grade, second, third, fourth, I was always in special training. I never could keep up. It's not that I didn't try. I didn't have someone that saw the symptoms. I didn't see them. No one saw them symptoms. They were there. They were just past. Me and millions of other kids, Thank God today we don't have that in our school system right now.
Let's hope not.
Let's hope not, right. I hold that in, man, and so when I got high, man, I got high not to feel. I didn't want to feel what I was feeling. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know nothing about no relationship, girlfriends and boyfriends, because I always had that thing. I didn't look for anything anyway. I didn't amount to nothing.
Tell me, how did you find Casa Milagrosa?
Actually, I was over at the park smoking crack cocaine when I ran into these people, and I was tired. I was tired. And when I say tired, I'm tired of the whole. It's an apple, right? And you take one bite, then you got to continue to take a bite. That's how drugs are. You take one hit, and you continue to take another hit. How I found out I was an addict, it was because I am an addictive personality, and I'm addicted to damn near everything. Coming up when I was like 18, 19 years old, I was told if you have the drugs, like especially marijuana and alcohol, you always have the women. So. Which is true, but they didn't continue to tell you what else goes along with that. They didn't tell you about the disease that you can catch. They didn't tell you about people who you can hurt them for as lying, manipulating, because that's what we do. You know what I'm saying? Not all addicts and alcoholics. I haven't really met an honest alcoholic, and I can't say I met an honest addict, I would say somewhere along the line, at the beginning, they probably was trying to be an honest person, but sometimes at the same time, you fall off, and because our minds don't work right. But to get back to what you was just asking me about Costa, I met them. They were out passing out flyers like me and that young lady was doing, and that's how I met them.
So you met Casa Milagrosa, and they gave you a flyer, and what did they say to you?
I was talking to her about getting into a detox. So I went into a detox over in Santa Monica. It's called the Clara Foundation.
Did they put you in
They helped me get in there.
Oh, so you met them, and you said, hey, I want help.
I needed help.
You knew you needed help.
Right. You have to know. You have to be convinced within yourself that you need the help, and then you got to be willing to go in to get the help. because it's not easy. You know what I'm saying? It's not easy at all, because for one thing, when you go in, you kick it, and that's what I like about the detox, because they know you kick it and they know how to help you, but you got to give the process time. If you don't give it time, then you might as well just go back out and use. I'm not a spiritual guy, but I do believe that, to break certain habits, to have somewhat of a life that is worth living, you have to have God in there somewhere in the picture. Because if he's not in the picture, then you're chasing smoke, which is not going to never appear. It looks real, but it's not real.
So you met Casa Milagrosa because they were passing out...
They was passing out flyers.
Sister Jessica?
Sister Jessica,
Okay,
and
you
go ahead.
You came in,
Mm-hmm.
and you said, hey, yeah, I need help.
Right, I told her I needed help. I told her I needed a dentist. I needed other things to go along with that, but at the same time, I needed to get off these drugs, because I know my life is not going nowhere.
So how's that going?
It's a struggle, you know what I'm saying? It's a struggle, and I'll tell you no lie, I still dip and dab.
So do you live on the street right now?
No, I have my own apartment.
So you've got your own apartment.
Uh-huh.
When Sister Jessica met you,
Mm-hmm.
you
I have my own apartment.
So
yeah.
you have your own apartment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so all right, so you're able to keep an apartment, which is good.
I'm able to keep an apartment. I'm able, and that's because of the fellowship that I have right now. I have a good social worker, a psychologist, and a good doctor, and those are the type of people you really need when you're trying to better your life. You need those people. You also need a pastor too, someone that you can trust, someone that you don't have to sit there and manipulate, someone that you can just sit there and talk to and be honest. Without the honesty, I might as well go out the door.
Yeah.
That's a waste of time.
So do you feel like you're honest now?
I feel like I'm on the right track.
How do you stay on that track?
Well, by doing what I'm doing, coming here, going out, passing out flyers, talking to people, innovating with people.
So it's wonderful that you getting help and you recognize you need the help and that the help is good.
Because of the past, last 15, 20 years, they've been looking down. See, the one thing about this addiction is it has no face. Because see, Bob might act a different way than Brenda, and Linda might act a different way, but they're all on the same drugs. They're on the same drugs, but they do different things. Mm-hmm. I would say that I am trying, and only God knows my heart. Only God can judge me. The only thing I can share is let people know my story. And if you get something out of it, fine. If you don't get nothing out of it, then fine, But we all have a story. Every person who has an addiction, I don't care if it's drugs, alcohol, lying, manipulating, cheating, or whatever, is still an addiction. And if it runs your life, if you're not controlled and it's controlling you, then you have a problem. You might have a problem bigger than you think you was. Like Ronnie Downey Jr. I was in prison with Ronnie Downey Jr. a while back. He wasn't like us though, you know what I'm saying? Because he had money. He had big money. And all he has to have is just a little willingness to want to change. And that's not always been him. He's a very nice person. I met him. And but what changed him is because of the support group that he had, and that it was something inside of him wanting to change. Mm-hmm. And that's the reason why he made that change.
Why were you in prison?
I was in prison for sales of drugs and narcotics.
And is that something you avoid now?
I would say I don't sell them no more. I still use them every occasion. It's something that I'm trying to, if I can get me a job, what I really want to do is be able to, go out and help other people. You know what I'm saying? Like bring them here, pick people up, take them to meeting, mm-hmm. or just be a helping hand. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be I don't want to be in the scenery. I don't want to be in the back. You know what I'm saying? Because I met a lot of people that can talk this game real good. They can tell stories real good. But when they come to actually living it, mm-hmm. it's different.
So when you say occasionally you still, mm-hmm. why does that happen?
I think it's because I'm not going to say I'm different. I'm just going to say I think it has a lot to do with my childhood coming up.
You can't stop yourself?
It's not that I can't stop. See, An addiction is like it's like this. It's like, what's your favorite cookie?
Chocolate chip.
Chocolate chip. You eat one, can you stop?
Hard.
It's hard.
Difficult. Can do
Yeah,
it.
it's difficult.
Can do it.
Right. But see, there's a difference between a drug, though.
Yeah.
Because see, once you put a drug in your system,
Right.
and it tells you that it likes you,
Right.
and you don't have no control of it, you say, okay, wait a minute, let me see if I have any control. And then within 1 hour, you done did it again 3 or 4 times.
Well, you gotta keep the chocolate chip cookies away from you.
You got to keep them away from you. And
Right.
that's the same way with the drugs.
Right.
You have to. But in our society nowadays, you know what I'm saying, it's a hard thing to do. Because, I mean, when you look at it, I mean, it's not something that can happen overnight. It's something that you have to practice. You have to practice it every day. I'm 65, and I'm a miracle. Sitting here right now talking to you, believe it or not, you know. I would say that it's a hard thing to do. And once I take a bite of this cookie, right? This chocolate chip cookie, what happens is I open up the door. This thing called a phenomenon of craving. You know what that is? A phenomenon of craving is something that, damn, I can't stop eating this cookie. And that's the same way with once I take a hit off that pipe, as some up here sets off, I can't stop. I'm trying to get me a truck. I'm trying to get a truck where I can help out people, you know, like helping people get to movies. When I say movies, I'm talking about like going to meetings, help people who are struggling, you know what I'm saying, who can't help themselves, you know. And that way, it helps me. It helps me to be able to help someone else.
Well, you're a good
Because
man.
I have to have, I'm practicing, I'm trying to be a good person.
Yeah.
It helps when you can see somebody else smile, or when you can see someone else, you've seen where they were and now you're seeing where they're at now. No one walks into AA or NA, sex addict or any other group, being honest. You know what I'm saying? You can forget that. You know what I'm saying? If you can't, these programs nowadays, if you got to sugarcoat it, it ain't gonna do you no good. It's got to break you down. You know, you're gonna show some emotions. You're gonna show some tears. You're gonna show a whole lot of tears. This shit hurt, man. It's painful. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't get it out, you end up going into one of the schools, killing 30, 40 kids and wondering what happened. These people who lost their lives in these shootings, we don't know what's going on in these people's minds. We don't know how long this stuff been going on. We don't know how long they've been hurting, you know? But I will say this much, you know, it's a growing process. You gotta have patience, you gotta have tolerance, and you have to have a higher power, whatever you want to call it. You have to, because that's the person, whatever you want to call it, can see things that you can't see. They're gonna know someone. They're gonna know a phony. There's phonies everywhere. You know what I'm saying? How can I not be a phony? Well, practice doing something different. Practice changing. You know what I'm saying? Time is everything. You can't do anything without time. You know, when you're sitting there sharing people and you helping people, giving them advice, and you guys giving each other advice, I think this is going to be a good thing. I mean, because the more you know about it, the more people are being honest about it, the more it just don't float here. It spreads out. And then people can say, you know what? I can get something out of that guy. That guy, he hit it right on the nail, what I was going through. You know what I'm saying? Because once I take a hit or fix of anything that I like, it's hard to stop. It's hard because the phenomenon of craving, it kicks in. It don't kick in the next hour. It don't kick in the next 10 minutes. It kicks in as soon, if you're an addict. But you gotta be an addict or an alcoholic to know what I'm talking about. You know, as soon as you hit that shit, whatever you want to put it, however you want to put it, it kicks in immediately. It's just something about our brains. It do a whole 80% ball turn. It turns. And then before you know it, you're like, I never saw myself doing this. You know, because these drugs and alcohol, they take you places where you never think you've ever been. You know what I'm saying? And it'll show you some good times too. That's its job. It's to show you, but it'll take you down. It'll take you down quick. Real quick.
Dwayne, if you had a magic wand and you got 3 wishes, what would they be?
Okay, one wish would be to really have really have a conscious contact with my higher power, God. The second one would have a real good fellowship with a girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Because you need that, you know? The third one would be is to be able to love people, to help people until they can help themselves. Because the more I'm out of myself, the more I see other people having some peace, love, and respect for themselves. It makes me feel better.